Welcome to the seventh and final episode of this series. Thank you so much for joining me on this little journey of discussing and looking back and reminiscing on all of the different events and pivotal moments that led to where I am today as an activist for preborn human rights. And in this episode, I'm going to be kind of wrapping up the whole story and discussing how I have landed where I am physically today, currently where I am right this moment, which is in Nairobi, Kenya, and what led to this moment. So, with all of this activism in mind, all of these different stories that I've been able to share throughout this series, I have kind of created a portfolio of the kind of information I want to share with other aspiring activists and current activists who want to learn more and share more. And because of that, it's sort of become my additional mission to become someone who is able to speak on this issue to students specifically, and young people and youth. And so because of that additional calling, I've had the phenomenal experience, the truly life-changing, life-altering, heart-changing opportunity to come to Africa for a pro-life mission. And I left on May 13th. May 13th, it's been so long, I almost forgot. May 13th, I flew out to Uganda, and I landed in Entebbe, and myself along with two other activists from the United States and 3 activists from Europe and 1 from the UK, so 2 from Europe and from the UK, all came together to share the pro-life message to students in Uganda, to young people in Uganda, to build up the pro-life generation and basically build something that just doesn't exist in its exact form until now, and to tackle a grassroots opportunity to share the pro-life message in a place that may not have it in the exact way that we were able to share it. And so we have worked at this week-long pro-life camp where we talked about every pro-life issue under the sun, from fertility awareness to post-abortive healing to what happens in abortion, what are the types of abortion procedures, human development, biology, embryology, when does human life begin, how can we effectively share this knowledge with other people. I spoke on the issue or the topic of synergy and leadership and how to build a strong leadership team, how to delegate, and how to think outside of the box and create new ideas and invent new possibilities for how to share the message with the greater society and the greater community. And within this camp, we were able to have specialty seminars that each of us was in charge of leading. And my workshop, my specialty seminar, was bridging art with activism and what it means to be a creative activist, someone who uses their passion for the creative and the passion for design and art and the beauty of not only God's creation, humanity, but also the creation that we can make with our own hands, that God has provided the talent and the skill and the motivation for us to use. And so my workshop consisted of not only discussions about how to actually approach being an art activist, an artist activist, but also a hands-on activity and a hands-on element of being able to paint t-shirts that had different pro-life messages on them, and basically teaching messaging and teaching how to share the pro-life message in a way that resonates with people who may disagree with us, using words like justice and equality and love, loving mother and child, compassion, and just the word life and how powerful it can be to just use the word life with a image of a baby, an image of a fetus, can be so powerful. And in addition to all of that, the hands-on activity, the seminars, all of these different activities, I was also able to, I had this idea halfway through the camp where I was thinking, what if there was a way to combine the concept of life dress with this camp? Because there were students at this camp who were sharing with me how they were super interested in doing pro-life art and sharing the pro-life message with their art, but there just wasn't the resources. There weren't the resources for them to pay for the paint, pay for the materials, to actually create pro-life art. And I wanted to be able to help. I wanted to be able to contribute to their success and their real, true impact. And that's why I realized I had this white skirt that I had thrifted back in the States to create a pro-life life dress with. And I just, for some reason, packed it. I just put it in my suitcase, and I don't know what was going in my head when I was packing. I was just like, I need this, even though I wasn't even really planning to wear it because it doesn't even fit me. And I can only attribute that to, of course, God and his plan, his greater plan, the one that I sometimes never understand, but am willing to follow along with. And so it was incredible because I had the students, I laid the skirt out, and I had all these students, over 70 pro-life activist students there in Uganda, who had all these different pro-life messages they wanted to get out into the world, and they put it on this skirt. And it was amazing. It was amazing to watch them go from not being as equipped with the pro-life message and not really knowing how to talk to people or to explain their view, going from that to being fully ready to invest their lives in the pro-life movement. We did an outreach day where we went out into the village of Jinja town, and we spoke to the students were able to speak to the different people in the village about the issue of abortion. And during that experience, one of the students polled myself and my friend Melanie, which you may remember from my video about Australia. He pulled us aside to go to a local school, high school level, to speak to the students about the pro-life mission and what it means to be pro-life. And it was over 100 students. And it was truly impactful. It was truly amazing to be able to just walk into the school and reach so many different lives. And so many different things like that occurred during this mission that it's impossible really to capture in a video, in a word, in a photo. It was so impactful and so life-changing that there's really no way to explain it all. But to the point of the life dress skirt, after these students had painted all of their pro-life messages on the skirt, yesterday I was able to list the skirt on lifedress.org, and someone purchased it within like 7 minutes of posting, and all of the profits from that skirt are going to go directly back to the students in Uganda who want to build up the pro-life generation through their passion for creativity, which it just feels surreal to say that this is a collaboration that worked out so perfectly in such a perfect way. And I think that this method of partnership from Life Dress, where students are able to contribute to the cause in a tangible and very real way, will continue on, and I will continue doing that with the rest of the students that I meet along the way. So Uganda was fantastic. It was just a beautiful, beautiful trip, and I loved every moment of it, even in its challenges, even in its trials, ups and downs. Lots of crazy things happened, and that's just part of the story, that's part of the adventure. But it was fantastic meeting all of the students, connecting with each and every one of them, hearing their stories, and hearing what they go through, what life is like, is just so different, so different than what I'm used to. And yeah, it was a beautiful thing. So that was Uganda. And Uganda was the week-long pro-life camp. Now, after that ended, some of the team flew to Nairobi, Kenya to do a 2-day conference to speak about very similar topics, but this time it was mostly to college level and young professionals, university level and young professionals. So yeah, it was wonderful. I met a lot of other students, and of course they were closer to my age, and like actually my age, because I'm also a university student. And so yeah, it was fantastic. And then the conference ended, and we were meant to fly home on Sunday, May 30th, I believe. And some of us did. Some of us did fly out on that day. Some of us did not. So one of the other team members and I tested positive for COVID, and so we had to isolate for 10 days as per the local mandate, local regulation. And so that's what we did. And it was a long 10 days. It was a very long 10 days. But during that time, there were so many opportunities from my little room in this little Catholic center in Nairobi, Kenya, to plan for the future. And stay tuned, because in future, not episodes of this series, but in a new series, a new video in the future, I'll be talking more about the big plans that were made during that 10-day isolation period. So 10 days passes, and I'm free to roam about the world as I please, except, normal life after isolation may not include flying if you don't have a negative test. So, as you may guess, I did not have a negative test when I retested, or the time after that, and so, alas, I'm still here in Nairobi, Kenya, still positive, though not contagious, and unaffected by COVID at this point. Just a positive tester, I'm just too positive a person, I guess. It keeps catching up to me. But anyway, that's the story of Africa in a nutshell. That's the story of my pro-life adventures, traveling here with not many expectations, honestly, but just an open heart to hear and to see from the people and the culture, the language, everything about the countries that I went to, Uganda and Kenya. I was just ready to experience it. I had very little expectation, because I didn't want to, create something in my head that didn't exist. I wanted to know what life here really is like. And, that included visiting the slums of Kibera and Mukuru here in Nairobi, Kenya. And the Kibera slums are one of the largest urban slums in all of Africa, and just the transformative experience of visiting with people who live here and hearing their stories and seeing the pure joy that exists beyond the pain of intense poverty. And I will talk more about all of this in future videos on more specific things that occurred and ways maybe that you want to help or you want to learn more about. But for now, I want to say thank you so much for taking the time to listen to me talk about all of my experiences and my journey as a pro-life activist and as someone who wants to speak up for all human life, because that is the ultimate truth and the ultimate mission. Thank you so much, and I hope that you have a beautiful day wherever you are in the world.